Hello, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Is everything visible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to today's Inkscape Beginners Workshop. My name is Sakshi Sharma, and today I'll introduce you to one of the best free vector softwares available. At the end of this workshop, you will be able to create logos, icons, posters, certificates, and many more. So, to introduce with this, I'm associated with the FOSSI Summer Fellowship. It is an initiative by IIT Bombay that allows students to work on real world and open source projects. Basically, in today's workshop, we'll study about an open source software which is known as Inkscape. So, what is basically Inkscape? It is a powerful, free open source vector graphics editor trusted by the designers worldwide, and it serves as a professional alternative to the Adobe Illustrator. It basically helps us to make logos, illustrations, diagrams, posters, and many more. Has anyone heard about the Adobe Illustrator? Has anyone heard about the
Yes, yes.
Adobe Illustrator? Okay. So basically, we know that Adobe Illustrator is paid, whereas Inkscape is 100% free and open source. So basically, to move further, we need to understand two terms. First is raster versus vector. Raster, the examples of raster is the JPEG image we use in daily lives, the PNG images, the photos. These all are made up of tiny squares known as pixels. When we zoom it, it becomes very blurry. And when we export it or send the file to someone else, basically the resolution decreases, the quality decreases because it is dependent on the resolution. Whereas when we talk about the vector images, it is made up of lines, curves, shapes, mathematical equations. So when we zoom it, it is always sharp. That means it is infinite, crisp scaling is there. For example, the logo of Apple, Nike, Adidas, these are all vector graphics. So according to you all, the thing which we have discussed just now, which format is better for logo design?
Vector graphics.
Good.
Vector graphics.
Okay. Next, we talk about the installation and setup of this particular Inkscape. It can be done by the official website of inkscape.org, which is available for Windows, Macs, Linux, etc. Let me show you. This is basically the official site of Inkscape. Here we can download it for Windows, Mac, or Linux, whichever device you are using. Then, if we move further with the discussion, okay. So, these are related to the interface which we'll be discussing. Basically, the Inkscape overview interface is that at the top we have the menu bar, which contains all the menus, commands, etc., which would we need while demonstrating the icons. Next, we have the toolbox, which contains tools for drawings, editing, and manipulating objects. Next, we have the palette, which gives us quick access to the colors to set the fill or the stroke for the particular object which we are using. After that, we have tool controls bar. This shows the option for the selected tool. Like we can change the x-axis coordinate, the y-axis coordinate, the width of the image, the height of the image. Then we have a docking area which holds the panel like fill, strokes, layers, text, and many more. We have the command bar, which gives quick access to the alignment, the arranging, the distribution of the object there in the page area. We have the snap control bar, which controls the snapping of the object for precise alignment. It is always recommended to use the alignment feature, the distribution feature, and not to free eyeball the thing. Next, this particular region is the page area where we create and design the logos or the certificate, etc. After that, we have the canvases. This is the area around the page where you can place the object and design it. After that, you can shift it to the page area. But remember, the objects which are in the canvas area will not be printed or will not be shown as an output. So if you want anything to be displayed on the output, it needs to be in the page area. Discussing these, I have just jot down all the shortcuts which a beginner needs for Inkscape. So this you can refer. I'll send this particular material in your inboxes, which you can check. So let's move on to the hands-on workshop. For this, I'll open the Inkscape application. I have many files because I have worked earlier with Inkscape, but if you are a beginner or a newcomer, this panel may not show. So, new document. Okay. So, this is the interface of Inkscape as discussed. We have the menu bar, which have the files, edit, view, layer, and so on options. In the files, we can add a new page area to this. We can open a recently worked project if we want to. We can save as we like. We can import any image which we want to modify or something like that. So we'll see this one by one. The main thing which we need to focus here is that the toolbox area. This is the main discussion for this workshop. Starting with the first tool, we have the selection tool. For example, I have drawn a circle and an ellipse, and I want to select this both. So I'll use the selection tool. I'll just select these two. So these two are selected. Now I can move this to any side I want, or if I don't want, I can just simply delete it. Next, we have the node tool. Then we have the shape builder tool. Every tool has a command for that. Like if I want to open the ellipse tool, I can press E. If I press E on my keyboard, the ellipse tool will appear. Okay, next we have the rectangular tool, then we have the ellipse or arc tool, then we have the star polygon tool, then we have the 3D box tool. This is very important for advanced user of Inkscape. We have spiral tool also, pen tool or Bezier tool. Then we have the pencil tool, and these all we can see. Okay, one important thing, text tool is one of the important tool in Inkscape. Then we have the gradient, mesh tool, dropper tool. Like if we want to take any color from another picture and drop that particular color into our design, we can use this dropper tool. And we all know about the fill tool. Okay, so one by one explaining each tool and how we can play with it to create amazing designs. First, we have the rectangle tool. Why it is showing blue color with the black border? Because in the bottom palette tool, palette section, we have the fill color as blue. If I just click onto this particular color, so the inside fill of this shape will also change. Like if I don't want the stroke around this particular object, so I will press shift and this none. So the stroke around the object will be removed. Okay, so here as we can see, we have a circular node here. We can click this and this basically provides the roundness of the edges. So, like if we want to create a banner and the top of the banner should be somewhat like curved squares, so we can use this particular tool and we can just round up the edges. Then we have, then we can just scale it like one click and you can just scale your object. Another click, you can rotate your object in any direction you want. One more interesting thing which I can demonstrate is that this plus sign which we are seeing, if we move this over here, so this particular object will consider this as the center and will rotate around this point. Let me demonstrate like this. So this is basically one advantage of this plus tool. Okay. Next, we have the ellipse tool. So for the ellipse tool, I will first change the color. I want to use this one right here. Okay. Basically, that object was selected. That is why we had the color. But if we deselect the object and choose again this color and draw an ellipse. Nice. If we want to draw a perfect circle, because drawing like this, it is not a perfect circle with not even radius in all the sides. So what we will do is that we'll press Control and then we will draw a circle. So if I just remove the above object and show you clearly, we'll remove this. We'll have the ellipse tool selected once again. Press Control and just drag it. So the radius will be equal in all the sides and we'll get a perfect circle. Next, if we move on to the star or polygon tool, I'll just resize it to a smaller version. Okay, and move it here. Taking the star or polygon tool, we'll just place it here, place it in the page area. Okay, so for this particular tool, we can just modify this into amazing shapes. Like on top of here, you can see the star symbol, the polygon symbol, and the corners. Currently, the corner is 10. If I reduce this number to like 4 and enter, this will be 4. 4 sides. This will be of 4 sides. One, 2, 3, 4. If I just change it into a pentagon, 5 sides. Currently, it is a star with 5 sides, but I can change the scaling for this. Okay. Then we can do one more thing. We can just round the objects of the star. Just focus here. We can just increase the rounded and stroke ratio. So the star will be more curved. From this, we can draw amazing shapes as per our liking, like this. You can rotate the node as per your liking, the shape which you want to achieve. Next, if I just set it into 10 and just remove this, it gives me perfectly sharp edges. And if I just play around with this, we can get amazing shapes which we can use in the designing process. So it's all on us that how we want to use the particular tools. Okay. Now the thing which I have done is basically to address an issue with this is that in this section we can see the fill color option, we can see the stroke and paint and the stroke style. Currently the stroke style is the stroke width is so much that our design is not visible. So if I just reduce it to zero point 0.5, so yeah, from this panel, we can increase the width of the stroke, we can decrease the width of the stroke, we can set different strokes option like the dotted stroke option. Okay, let me change it to this one. We can just soften up the, we can just curve these strokes as per our liking. So this particular area we can explore according to our needs. Just scaling it up. Okay, placing it somewhere here. Okay. Next, we have talked about so many tools. Up next is 3D. This is a interesting tool. Like if we just put it like this and we change the x-axis or y-axis. As I am moving, the width is changing, the height is changing. If somebody wants to draw a 3D model, they can surely use this. You can change the colors also for this. Basically, all the things which we see on the internet can be drawn with using the Inkscape. Up next, we have spiral tool. We can just place this. We can reduce the divergence. We can increase it also. I am liking it this way. Then inner radius we can increase if we want to, or the number of turns. Currently it is 6 turns. We can reduce the 6 turns via this, or just hold this and spiral out it. Or if we want more number of turns, spiral in. So this is the use of the spiral tool. Next, one more interesting tool is the bizarre tool. So if we want to draw a drawing with freehand, like we want to draw a heart, for example, just placing the dots, I will change the stroke style to dashed. Okay. Now with the help of the node tool, you can see that multiple nodes appear on this. Just I am placing the nodes where I want to give it a nice shape. Okay, we can see that the heart has pointed edges. If we want rounded edges, what we can do is that we can select each and every node. I have pressed shift and I'm just clicking in each and every node. Okay. Then from here, it says make the selected nodes symmetric. If we click, so see, we can have the edges rounded. If we want to change it, we can do in any way which we want. Okay, I want here to be thick. Okay, this is the thing. And if we want to add some filters or colors, let me just fill it with the red color and remove the stroke using shift and none. Then I'll go to filters. Then we can blur it also if we want. Blur, we can change the opacity of the blur of the object. We can change the opacity of the blur too. Or we can just add another filter, distort, color, mm, pixels, anything which we like. If we want bevels, button if we want, we can use this button tool also. Just reduce the blur, and this is perfect for me. So from the filters tab also, we can use many filters as per our liking. So these were the tools, basic tools. We have one more interesting tool, which is the gradient tool. Just giving a demo of this. If I double tap and just put another node over here and go into the fill section, select this particular node and fill the color to light green and or maybe say purple. So we can see the gradient effect of this. If we want to apply this particular feature to the background of this page, we can just click to the top left and drag it down. Okay, so basically why this purple appeared? Because Inkscape remembers the previous actions which we did. So we can just rectify these, change the color to yellow, set across the page. We can change the opacity of these also. And now the concern which arises maybe is that why is the background above all the objects and why not behind? So for this issue, we'll go to this tab, which is the layers and objects tab. We can see that the rectangle is top of each and every path and object which we have. So we'll just click it, we will drag it down, and eventually the background rectangle is behind every object. Till here, do you have any doubts regarding whatever is explained? Do anybody have any doubt?
No.
Okay,
No.
okay, that's great. Okay, so we'll start with the logo design. I'll show you some examples. So from that examples, you can just try, download Inkscape and try at your own. Okay, so first I think we can create the logo of Instagram maybe just for the demo. We can apply the fill color as none or maybe white for instance. Then we can just, okay, white will not be visible. Okay, we can add a stroke, fill stroke. Yeah, this, okay. We press control and then drag that down for the perfect square which we want. For now, I'm just, okay. We'll make the edge rounded. I can just open Instagram for the reference, the logo of Instagram for the reference, and we can just tally if it is correct or not. Instagram icon. Okay, perfect. This we can draw. Anyone we can draw. We can draw this also. This looks fine to me. Okay. So we will be working with this. We have the rectangle with us. We will duplicate this rectangle. How can we duplicate this rectangle? We can press Ctrl and D for the duplication. And how will we know that the object is duplicated? Actually, the object is on top of the previous object. The duplicated object is on top of the previous object. So we will drag the second object and place it in roughly the center of the first. Then we can see we have a circle also. So we'll take the circle tool. We'll just control, drag that circle. Oh, stroke was that. We will just remove this. The circle has gone at the back, I guess. Oh no, it is not. Take the circle tool, drag the particular circle. We'll make one more circle because we can see that in the image there are two circles. So this this much is fine for me. We'll fill the circle with black for now. Okay. We will just place these on top of each other. For example, here we'll take this and we'll place it here. Increase the size, the color to gradient is applied, I guess. Okay. Like the first rectangle once again. Go to the fill and stroke. The stroke style. We'll just increase the stroke for this. Same for the rest of the shapes also. Then for this circle also. Yes, this much is fine for me. Okay. Now we can see that the Instagram is having three colors, the purple, the red, the yellow. How we can add this? We can add this using the gradient tool. I've selected the gradient tool, the outer rectangle, place one node here, just drag this. I'll place it here. Another node, I'll place it here and just add the colors. Okay. In this gradient tool, we can add one more node as we can see that three colors are there. But with the use of only two nodes, we will be able to apply only two colors. So for the middle red color, we can place one more node in the center of the first gradient. So now let's color it. First, I'll select this particular node. Then I will fill yellow color to it. I will select this particular node. I'll give it red color. Then I'll select the last node and I'll give it this. Yeah, this color would be fine. Okay. One more thing which we can do is that take the second. We'll fill it none and stroke color we can set it to white. Okay. Layers, rectangle, fill is none. Shift white. Then for the circle also, we will set the fill to none. And for the stroke, we can set it to white. In this particular dot, we can set the fill to none. Okay, the fill is white actually. White and the stroke also white. Outer one also we can change. We can add the stroke to white. Okay. Next, one more thing. Here we can see the, okay, in the fill also we can see there are gradient options. So we can add gradient via this side of the panel, or we can select the gradient for this also. It changes the pattern of the gradient. So I am sticking around with this only, or should we go with this? Radial or linear? Should we go with radial or we should do linear? What is your opinion? Is anybody speaking? Phrased. Do we go with the radial, this one, or should we do with the linear gradient to achieve the original icon of Instagram? Any opinions? Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we should go with the this gradient or the radial. We can modify the icons as per our liking, as we are not bound to recreate the original icon only. We can just modify that also. Is this looking fine, or should we do the linear one, same as the original?
Let's do the original one only.
Original one only?
Yes.
Okay, this particular is also. Okay. As Shrishti said, I'll just go with the original gradient. Perfect. We can increase the stroke of this also. We can increase it a bit, not much. The circle also we can just increase the stroke. Perfect. Okay. To view this more clearly, we can just take the rectangle tool once again. We'll add a fill color black. We'll just draw the rectangle on top of it, go to layers, and just push the rectangle at the very back and just fill and stroke. Okay, you can just do this. Increase the opacity so we can do this if we want, or we can just remove this also as per our liking. Whichever design you are recreating, you can do as per that design. No issue in that. Do we have any doubts till here? If anybody has any doubts, we can just clear it. No issues.
No.
Okay, I'll be giving assignments and expect you to complete that within the stipulated time period if you don't have any doubts.
Okay.
Okay, then we have, okay, one more tool, the spray tool. I have selected this heart, and if I want to just spray this heart all over the canvas, I can use the spray tool. This is just a basic tool which I want to show. We'll just select this and we'll just delete. Okay. By using all these tools, now we can create any icons which we like. One more for that instance I can show you is the YouTube icon or the Chrome icon. These icons we can draw using the rectangular tool. Then on top of it, we can draw a triangle. How to draw a triangle? With the polygon. We'll select the polygon. We'll adjust the corners to 3. We'll just press OK. Fill color for now. I'll select green. Just make it like this. Select the notes tool. Adjust the note size. And this is a triangle. So I can just make a rectangle behind it, color that red, and using this triangle, I can create the YouTube logo. Okay, so we can do that. Double tap on this, rotate, rotate this. We'll just scale this a bit. We'll just decrease the scaling. We'll take the rectangular tool. We'll draw rectangle around it, round up the edges, round up the edges. This much is fine. We'll color that white. Okay. Now it is not visible, but it will be eventually. Okay. So I'll just need to replace. Now that the triangle is above, I can just change the color of the background red, fill that red, fill this with white. And more or less, we have achieved the YouTube logo. We can just scale it up so that it matches the original logo. We can increase the size of this, place it here. We can add the blurry effect from the filters which we used. Any effect which you want, any effect. The texture will be changed. Anything which you want, you can apply from here. Okay. So this pretty much sums up the icons thing. Okay. After that, I just want to show certain more things is okay. We have noticed that if I just click this and if I want to move this to here, so see what happens. I clicked, I moved. So only the rectangle is coming, right? Undo this. We'll just select Shift, select the rectangle also. Now these two are selected. Press Ctrl G, which groups them together. And now if I want to move, so both the triangles and the rectangle move together. So this is one of the features, which is the group feature. If you don't remember the shortcut, you can just, okay, I'll show you with this Instagram. If you don't remember the shortcut, select this full thing Go right click, then group them all together. It's that simple. That's it. Okay. One more thing I just want to show is that if we use the bizarre tool and if we want to create, acha, we use the bizarre tool for heart. Okay, now we can go with the text tool also, no issues. If I write here, Inkscape fill is white, text black, okay, like why it's not selecting? Inkscape, Inkscape workshop. If we do, and we just go to object path insect, or we can just do with this also. Stroke, move this here. Okay, text outset. If I do, and then just with the node tool, simplify path, simplify. Once again, path simplify, control L. Okay, this much is fine. Hmm, path, insert, path, insert or outside only, we can just change this to gray. Is dynamic offset on? Link offset is on. Okay, that is the reason why it is not coming. Dynamic offset. Both the offsets are on. Okay, we can delete this. We have the previous one. Insect path, insect. Okay, both the offsets are on. Control J. Mhm. Not happening. Multiple layers are linked together, which I can see. One is this, other one is this part, this part, and this part is also there. We Just remove once again. Path, insect. Okay, got it. Okay. Hmm. This is the thing which I was showing. There are certain offsets which we can talk about. First is inset, we have outset, dynamic offset, and linked offset. The problem which was occurring previously was that all these objects offsets like inset and offset and dynamic offset, these three were connected with the link offset. That is why we were not be able to see the texts. So now that the problem is solved, we can use such kind of features to edit the or to add text in the posters or the certificates if we want. Then in this panel, we have the multiple options of the font. Whichever we like, we can just use randomly. We can select whether to do italics or not. So this is the preview which will be appearing. So we can try each and every functions. We can explore Inkscape as per our likings. So till here, do we have any doubts? Till here, do we have any doubts regarding the grouping which we did, regarding the text alignment which we did, the text font which we did, the inset, outset? Is any doubt?
No.
Okay, okay. So we can just select this. We can just delete everything and we have a fresh canvas over here. Do you want me to draw anything, show you anything which you have in mind? Is any diagrams, drawings, icons there which you want me to show? Am I audible?
We can try drawing a tree.
Free using Bazaar tool.
Yeah.
Okay, we can try that. Okay. We can just create a scenery for that instance. Like this is a Bazaar tool which I am using. I'll just make the nodes. If we, okay, this we can do. This, we can just move the Bazaar tool and click the areas where we want the tree, leaves, or something like that. Freehand drawing if we want of the tree, we can just do with this. Okay, we can go with the nodes. We can draw this separately also. Let's draw it separately. The trunk and the leaves both. For example, again, if I take the Bazaar tool, click here, then here, then move further with these drawings. Okay, end in the first node, then color it with brown. I would like to remove the stroke. Okay, sorry, shift, then this should be filled. Nice. Then again, we'll take the Bazaar tool, we'll start drawing the leaf structure freehand, whichever way we like. We can increase the spread of the leaves, or we can decrease it also as we want. Okay, this is completed. Now we should complete. Okay, green. This green or a lighter shade of green. This works fine for me. Okay, then with the help of the node tool, which we have used earlier, we have so many nodes, we can just simplify the nodes. Like in the path section, we have simplify, just click on simplify, or there is a shortcut beside that, which is Control L. So we can just do Control L and the nodes are simplified. For this, I want to make the edges curvy. So I can just select this node, drag this upwards for the curves, this, then select this. We can curve it like this, make it a broad, make it broad. This node I want to shift it here, I guess. Same for this side. I want this to be here, like this. Okay, more or less, this structure looks fine to me. Is it okay with you too, Shrishti?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Or should we increase the spread of this tree, or it is fine for now?
No, it is fine for now.
Okay. We can see that the leaves are in front of the bark. We can keep it like this also, or we can move the bark in front of the leaves also using the layers panel which we discussed. Okay. I don't think so. It would look nice if the bark is in front. Better it should be at the back. Okay, perfect. We can use gradients also with these leaves. We can do shading using the bazaar also. Like again, we can draw the structure and we can just shade that. Just drawing roughly now. Complete it. Here, give it light green. Give, okay. We'll select the outer surface. We'll give it darker green. And it kind of, if we do it nicely, more detailed version, so we can achieve a better result using these. Now the corners are very sharpened, so again from the node tool we can just round the edges off if we want to. Otherwise do the shading as per our liking. So this is more or less the thing. We can add gradients also to this if we want. It is not necessary to every time use the gradients tool. It's just how we prefer that particular thing to look. We can increase the opacity of the gradients, select this particular area, give it a color this, this particular area, darken this up. We can select this particular shading and give gradients to this also. A more of here we can select. Okay, this much I feel is okay. For here we can input the green more, and like this we can design a tree. This can be or detailed also, but for this workshop I'm keeping it simple. I have few designs which I can show which I have done earlier in this fellowship. That is, these are the basic designs using shapes. I have created CPUs, monitors, mouse. Using the note tool, I have just made the edges curve, then a stylish keyboard with all the keys. You can do shading also in this, no issue with that. Then we have scenery. This mountains, these clouds are done with the Bazaar tool. These trees are done with the Bazaar tool and the gradients tool as well. Then we have the houses, we have the car. This curve I have achieved again using the notes tool to curve this particular area. We have the windows for this. We have an effect. This white one is the effect. So basically, we can use Inkscape for anything from basic uh, logos to certificates and so on. I can show you the certificates as well, which you can just do with Inkscape. For example, task one. These are certain certificates border which I have made. So the output of Inkscape is .svg file. Na? So this is the certificates border which I have drawn. Then we have the email banner using the Inkscape. These all are done in Inkscape. We can replicate any logo or we can create logo as per our liking. So this all can be done via Inkscape. We can design a poster. I have done it for Fossey Python project. Then a social media post using Inkscape. These all are text tool. This is the replication of the Python icon which we have. These are all the necessary details which needs to be filled. So basically, Inkscape is a tool which gives you hands-on experience about the different designs which you see on the internet, and someday if you want to just replicate it or just make your own logo for your desktop or something like that, you can surely use Inkscape. It is open source, free to use. It gives features like Adobe Illustrator too. This is a brochure, 4 pages brochure. So this pretty much sums up the workshop which we had today. If anybody has any doubt, they can just ask me. Is anybody having any doubt?
No.
No, no,
Okay.
No,
Was any part unclear, or do you want me to repeat?
No.
Okay. Rest, just give me a thumbs up if we can conclude this workshop. Everything is pretty much clear. Good. Thank you so much for attending this workshop. I'm highly grateful that you did, sparing your time. Thank you so much. And every material will be provided you via your inbox. So no worries in that. The assignments, lastly, the assignments which I want to just show, which I'll be giving to you all, is these. These are basic tasks like create a simple house, use a rectangle for the house body, triangle for the rooftop. You can make a what? Quadrilateral also for the rooftop. Small rectangles for the doors and windows, circle for the sun. You can use the gradient feature for gradient to add a gradient in your sky. Create a simple emoji, circle for the big face, two small circle for the eyes. So basically, these assignments are way too simple and it hardly takes 10 minutes each. So I'll send this via your inbox. You can just try and send me your copy. I would be very grateful for that. And thank you so much for coming. It is a great honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.